Get my seat settled. Welcome back, everybody, to another Rookzer0 Commission Day. We're gonna keep working on this half-elf. Yeah, we got a lot of good stuff going on today. Gonna fix some hair. Gonna figure out we got a lot going on. We're gonna work on it today. How is everybody today? Welcome, Andres. Oh boy, gotta move that. There we go. So I did get a hold of my contact yesterday. I got a hold of him yesterday. So I have a little more stuff to work on. So we're gonna try to give him some fancy hair. I'm gonna do something with this arm because I'm not happy with this arm yet. In fact, maybe that's where we should start. That's probably where we should start today. Just gonna go woo. I'm just gonna go bam. Welcome, Bri. Welcome, Joseph. Welcome, Dino. How do I want to say that? Dino? What's up? Welcome to the stream. I'm going to be hanging out in the Discord chat today. Let's see. Nice. Got Blaze in there talking about books. Yeah, all right. We have a fancy elven bard here today that we're going to be finishing up pretty soon, I hope. Actually, I have quite a bit done on the next video as well, so I'm excited. That'll be out in the next few days, I hope. I hope it doesn't take me till Monday, but it might. Who knows? I'm doing pretty good. Today's a busy day for me, but you know, we're moving into the weekend. I have one more day tomorrow of some work. Got the video to work on. I think I am just going to try to do the streaming Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, right in the middle of the week there. Or Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I might do it 4 times a week. I mean, it's going all right so far. So we'll see how that goes. But I think I will take tomorrow off. Try to rest my voice so I don't go all quiet. I'm working on that though. Slowly building up my talking stamina. It's been a lot of fun. This has been a really cool week. I'm glad you're all here to hang out. Join in this adventure of live streaming with me. Discord is growing, which is great. Really excited for that. I have no idea what to do with this hand. I've been thinking about it on and off all day. Like, it's been a thorn in my side all night. I'm just like, what do I do? He's a bard, right? I mean, like, should I have him doing some fancy magic? Could do some fancy magic, just like, ha, check that out. Check out my sweet spells. Because that would still get the point across that there's that burn. I think I broke this guy's wrist. I very possibly broke the wrist. I did. There's a gap there. That's not supposed to go. All of this needs to move slightly. There we go. It's funny, like, I'll be working on something in one image or in my sketchbook, and then I'll try to transpose it to the next thing I'm working on without thinking about it. This curve will be seen in the future. So general option question. For anyone who does commissions, if the people get very detailed in what they want and don't let you do what you do best, does it get? There are a few different things that can come up in that situation. I was talking to a few other people in the Discord that do commissions for a living, like full-time. I only do it part-time, just because of the time I have. Does it get difficult to fulfill the commission? It can and it can't. Whenever I've had very, very, very detailed descriptions, I get a little overwhelmed because it's like, oh, I have to make this perfect now. But when I get a very vague description, I also get a little overwhelmed because it's like, ooh, You know, I hope I come up with something they like. So I think there's definitely a middle ground, and talking to a few people in the Discord that do it for full time, they like having that constraint, and that's just a very preferential thing. Especially if you're doing something for companies, if you're doing commission work for companies, the more detail you can get out of them, the better, because they very much have something in mind, or they think they do. And what I've run into with companies is a lot of times they say they do, but they don't actually know what the hell they're talking about. You know, I want something super cool and also super fancy and also very not fancy. It's like those are not things that work. Like you have to really pare that down. So I think what I like the most about, or the way I like to work the best, is to let people tell me what is important to them for their character. So if I ask them for a very quick description, like, oh, tell me about your character, they will generally tell me the important parts, and then I just fill in the rest. And that hasn't come back to bite me yet. I'm sure I'll run into somebody who's just like, oh, this isn't what I wanted at all. But yeah, for the most part, I let people, man, I'm really messing this up. I let people tell me the important bits of their work, and then I fill in the rest of the gaps, because I work kind of freely like that. And if I start getting more work to where I need to stop taking time and being kind of openly creative with it, then I would probably ask for more information. Like, tell me exactly what you want so I can get that to you in a reasonable amount of time. But as right now, I'm backlogged about 2 weeks, just because I know how long it's going to take me, and I'm going to take my time with it. Generally, when people know exactly what they want, I can do it a little quicker, because it's just like, okay, I'm just going to bang those 3 things out, and then we're going to be done. But I hope that answered your question. PowerPoints are great tools to start your art with. Fair enough, yeah. If you can really, especially when you're working in like a corporate setting, of like, these are the 5 things that must be in this picture. These are things we do not want in this picture. These are the elements that, you know, the character should be visible in the character. We want them to portray this strength, you know, stuff like that. And I think it was Sai. I think SciArt gave me like a really good template for that, to get that kind of information out of somebody. And sometimes I have to go back to a client and be like specifically in this situation with the hair, is like, you know, we didn't really talk about what you wanted the hair to be. I had one client, I'm not sure how long ago this was, they didn't tell me the gender of their character, and I was like, okay, yeah, and I forgot to ask, and I kept forgetting. I'm like, I really need to work on that, and so I just made it as, I just didn't bring it up. I just designed the character that would be fill all their criteria, and I hope it worked out for them. But it was a lot of fun. Okay, so that's basically my mohawk. I don't know if that's what they want, but we can definitely do something with this. Go kind of like that. I want this to be shaved, so I'm going to do that. Bring that down. Make this hair really like kind of a pompadour style thing going on. Great. I always worry that I sometimes just start talking and then I forget what I was talking about and I ramble. So I'm working on that too. This is a great learning experience for everybody all around. But that was the point of the YouTube channel. So I think we're in good shape. Learning, getting better at stuff, talking to people, doing cool things. Oh yeah, we're in for a... Okay, so there's a burn or a tattoo on this hand, like right here, that should be partially covered up by the wraps. So I'm gonna go ahead and do something like this, kind of like that. Yep. And then we're just gonna wrap up the hand. And I need to remember where this is in relation to my Because right now, the way I have this drawn, it's actually like bending like this. So like this is the front, and then this is the front. That's not what I want. I actually want this hand to be forward. So I need it to go like that, and then, yeah. So that now this is the front, and this is the front. So this hand needs to come down, and the arm needs to be stressed this way. Which means that the wrist is probably right there. I hope what I just said made sense to people, because when I tell people, and I've done this before, go back to your volumes and understand your volumes, that's exactly what I mean. Like, I actively had to look at the arm and decide how it was shaped and how it was being portrayed in 3D space. I hope that didn't break anybody's brain. So I'm going to put that down here, and I think that looks way better than it did just half a second ago. Had to run around in the rain all day today, so I got a little bit of the sniffles. Hope that will go away by tomorrow. I won't have to deal with that anymore. It's allergy season, so if my voice starts going weird and nasally, y'all know what's up. Oh no, I've told you all my weakness. Now the internet knows that I'm susceptible to grass. Dun, 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 dun. No, did not. Great. All right, Joseph, I'm glad you're on board. Get rid of that. I think that's pretty good. I like that. It's showing off the hand, kind of keeping the flavor of the character. We got the bag right here, which is underneath the cloak. I think that's fine. I think this might actually loop instead of... Now, we do also know that this cloak is supposed to be billowy, and it's supposed to be trimmed, or have trim on it. So we will try to incorporate all of that. Let's get a loop back here. So what I got right now is I got a flat piece and that, right? But I want it to be more billowy, so I need to start extending it out. So this can be another cool shape, another fun shape excursion. Why did I do that? That's not what I want. How's volume today? How are we doing? I moved the mic again. I keep moving the mic around so I can test things out. But so we have a pin here on the neck, and we have a pin here on the neck. And we want the cape to be, I'm going to say, probably this long. I think that's going to be the very back of the cape. And so everything else needs to branch off that. So we have extra material. It's going to be around here. I don't know if I like it that straight. It's not bad. It's not a bad line. But I think I want the silhouette to be a little more dynamic. Maybe like that. I could have it peak too. I could have it kind of constantly cascading inward. That looks pretty good. I think that will do us. So then this would probably be like right here. Have it curve in. Oh, I've got that all weirded out though. Because really, that should be peaked because we're doing the same arc. So that's that. That would come in, and then that would come in like that. Nope, a little higher up here. So this would have to come up as well. Okay, we're getting somewhere. Get some billows in there. Okay, so that's our general shape. Maybe we should have gone with the manta ray there. Hey, Rookzer0, Wyatt asks, perhaps your client should be watching your live stream and telling you what to think. Evil laughter. That's not a bad idea. The only issue with that is that's kind of having someone draw over your shoulder. I'm fine with people watching and maybe like small inputs. And if it's like way off base, like, hey, why does he have Sailor Moon hair? That's totally cool. But there is a point where there needs to be a little bit of hands off. Does that make sense? Things need to be. I need to have my own space to kind of figure things out. I don't like this anymore. I like this. This should look like that. This should be curving. I like this side and I don't like that side. I think I screwed the pooch on this side here, because this should really be kind of draping back like that. And then that should be billowing up. There we go. That's better. I think that's a lot better. So, yeah. Definitely. And that's why the evil laugh, yeah. So if you do commission something from me and you want to hang out and watch the stream, do it. Absolutely do it. If I feel like it's something that I can't work with, I won't do all of my commissions on stream. I always ask first. And if I feel like it's something that is maybe a little, like the content is a little too risque, or I don't feel comfortable with the content. I mean, that could easily be like, drawing something I've never drawn before and I'm not sure how it's going to play out. Or I just need time to think. There's a lot of times when I do commissions that it's just like, I'm going to take a day or two and really just sit down and try to figure out how this is going to work in my head. Sometimes I just need music. So it was supposed to billow past the waist. Maybe I'm making it too long. Maybe it just needs to go. Maybe it needs to go a little shorter. And maybe I think we need to not have this line in here while I'm doing this. Art is a fun and fickle thing. And, yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make that new layer. I'm going to take that. Whoops. No, cancel. Get out of here. Get out of here. Okay. So we got this back. I still like this idea. I got my 2 hinge points. But maybe this is really more of a... Because it was a cloak, not a cape. I don't know the difference anymore. Cloak, robe. I think that's kind of cool. Kind of like the idea that it's almost... Yeah. They did want it billowing. Does billowing have to be a direction, or can it just be down? How's everybody else doing with their art this week? It's a Friday night. People get all their projects done for the weekend. Taking any cool artwork to your friends for the game. Ooh, I hope my artwork's not the one that was supposed to be taken to the game. It's not done yet. Still working on it. Ooh, that's a weird line. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I mean, this is absolutely where that is. But I think it needs to drape more that way. There we go. Yeah. I think we're not going to see a lot of it over here. I think it's going to be, because I think it's going to be kind of draping down like that. I think we're not gonna see it. I think that'll clean up that side too. So maybe we can make it a little more bellowy. Ooh, just blowing wind. Maybe I should look at some cape references here instead of just drawing random lines. That will definitely not be on my epitaph. Didn't draw random lines. It's like half of my channel. It's just random lines. Yep, I'm stalled. Stalled out. It's reference time. Let's do it. To the internet. Cloaks. Yep. Straight. Okay, I see lots of straight lines. So my pokey lines are... Oh, that's a naked lady with a cloak. Okay, cool. That took 2 pictures. Thank you, Google. Hey, that's not bad. I also like that wrapping. Inspiration lines, yes. Rapid inspiration lines. Billowy cloaks. Looks like I'm getting too fancy with it. I think that's the problem. I think I've become trying to make it too ridiculous. So we're gonna go back to something a little more. How does that work? We got this going. I like that still. I think we're gonna keep that. I think we just need it to come like straight down is the problem. I think that's really my issue, is I'm trying to give it too much movement. Because the character himself is not very, it's not like dynamically being pushed. So like the cloak doing crazy stuff isn't necessarily its own thing. I think we can definitely give it some shape. Okay, that's not too bad. It's not terrible. Okay. Let me show you guys an interesting trick that I do from time to time. So I really like this. I think we're going to keep that for now. I don't need this. I don't need that. And yeah, okay. So that's pretty good. I think we need to clean this up a little bit. Probably have a few more folds in there. Those are probably straight up and down. Let's make that a little bigger, because the back part is usually pretty curved, pretty flat. Has the most area to not bunch. Okay. Now, I'm going to go Control U. I'm going to go Saturation. Bam, 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 bam. Okay. We're going to merge those. Merge down. Done. Yay, we did it. Okay, we have a cloak. Let's erase some of these lines. Clean this up a little bit. I think we actually probably don't need all of this either. I think we can get away with this being a little shorter. Whoops, still red. Not ideal. Probably go up here like that. I think that'll probably look pretty good. And I do need to make sure that this does not appear to be the pants. So I'm going to kind of prematurely darken those up. Same down here. There's a lot of... You can do this with color as well, but I like everything to work in my lines before I start pushing them with color. Okay, cool. Now we just got a floating hand. Is it clean or well loved? Yeah, that's kind of a good question. Yeah, I think with a bard, he probably has pretty nice clothes. So otherwise, people would think he was a smelly bard. Nobody wants a smelly bard, unless that's your thing, you know. Maybe you're a scent bard. Starting to like these shoulder pads less and less. I think now that we have actual shoulder pads, we can probably get away with curving those down. It was fun being an 80s rock star for a while, though. That's looking better. Okay. Now the fun thing with these, you got a lot of scribble lines in here, and that's okay. We need to make this an adequate trim. So I'm probably going to have to look up a trim pattern. I could also just get creative with it, and we'll see what happens. Get those lines in there, like that. Oh, we have an opportunity right here. We have an opportunity for a skull, I think. Gotta put skulls everywhere. Skulls are great. Okay. So I want this to be very, I think we're probably going to go like this. Do that. We'll get like a fleur de lis in here. Maybe we'll do 2 leaves instead. And we can just continue on with that idea. It's not terrible. It's not terrible. I don't know if I actually want full leaves. That might be a little too intricate, but it could be cool. It's a fun pattern. Fun base pattern. Nice brocade. Lace patterns. Trim patterns. Oh, those are pretty. Especially I need 2 geometric shapes and I need to overlap them somehow. That's my goal for this. So I'm a big fan of the spiral, so we could do the spiral. And what else could we do? Oh, you know what we could? I haven't done this in a while. Let's try this. So we're gonna go keep this like that. And then I'm going to grab it. I'll copy it. Okay. Here's where the fun part comes in. So I want this line right here to kind of follow this line. I'm going to do that. I'm going to go like that. Go like that. I think that'll be pretty cool. So now I'm going to grab these 2. Pretty sweet. So I will have to go in and I will have to edit a lot of these little details, but this will be fun. I think this will, whoops. Uh-oh. It's all mad. There we go. I need that back line though. Otherwise it's gonna be weird. Ha! Ha! Now it's starting to get slightly curved, so I need to move it. I think I'll probably do the rest by hand, just because it's starting to get along this curve. But hey, we saved a little bit of time. Whoop. Whoop. And then this one's going to kind of go over this way. And then that will just be a different color than the bottom part of it. And then this one will have the leaf going that way, and we will do the same thing, except in reverse. It should probably follow the same direction now that I think about it. So maybe we need to do this. We'll just wait. Whoops. That was the window key, not the alt key. There we go. For some reason I just thought this looks like the chilies, like little tiny chilies everywhere. Has anybody ever made a Guy Fieri a bard? Because that could be pretty great. Welcome to Flavortown. Bam! That was 2 different things. Whatever. Still good. Okay, I'm back for another episode of More Belt. Thank you, Ace. I'm glad you made it in time for the belt apocalypse. We're gonna throw some belts all over this. Right here. Bam. Belt done. Speaking of which, I actually do need to put a belt there. Let's go ahead and just put a little strap. Thank you for reminding me of the belt possibilities. Okay. Anyways, Yeah, we got a little trim going on there. That's pretty good. I like that. Probably won't be on the inside of the cloak here, but we will have some stitching definition on this side, so we'll go ahead and just add a little detail just to get it in there. I'm gonna have to do a lot of cleanup here. That's fine. If it does get too clustered, could always do another layer and just kind of erase over like I did with the cloak. But I think this is all good. I like a lot of these lines. If I like a line, it gets to stay. Some of these spots, there's not a lot of detail there because of the amount of smallness that is there. There's just not a lot of stuff there anyways. We can kind of darken those up a bit just to get the ideas pushed through the volume and shape. We don't really need the detail because there wouldn't be a lot of light on it anyways. So this is supposed to be a little bit of a thicker, heavier hide. So I'm going to make sure these lines are bold and I want them to be smooth. I'm probably going to beat these up a little bit with a little bit of detail here. Whoa, I just broke some physics. This is the old line, and this is the new line, and I have made them the same thing, so that's actually not there anymore. That is pretty funny. That's pretty funny. Just broke. Drawing the inside and the outside. How about that? We've talked about ambient occlusion before. That's just kind of where things that are really close together are going to be kind of darker as they get closer to each other because the light just can't escape from where it is. So you can do a lot before you even add color with that, just by like making your corners a little darker, or like right here, like we can just add a little bit of a mud there and that adds a little bit of pop. Just makes everything look a little sharper. Helps bring out volumes and shapes. There we go. Advertising for Chili's. Oh, all the time. Chili's, if you want to sponsor me, you know, go for it. I don't like eating at Chili's. But I will sell you that chili. Oh boy. Boy, oh boy. That would actually be pretty cool if Chili's just started hanging up fantasy art in their in their weird America towns or whatever the hell they call them. Am I combining Chili's and TGI Fridays? Like I feel like I might be doing that. I feel like those are two different things. What did I do here? What's going on here? What have I done? I did this backwards. This should look like this. And this one should look like this one. There we go. I've got a little bit of leather bend going on here. Probably some stitches. Okay, I'm gonna get these lines back in here. I like it. I like where this is going. This has been a fun project. I'm pretty happy with this one. Cleaning up all that stuff. Getting that leather bend in there. That's what we want. That is what we want. Probably put some scratches in this, just make it a little more weathered. Hello, 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 Sire. Welcome. Joseph Rolak. Do have question. When it comes to coloring, how would one color a prismatic dragonkin? Prismatic dragonkin, like for dragonborns, if you want to build something that is a prismatic dragon, so like you can switch colors, I would just pick one and show it off, or maybe go through transitions and pick 2 colors. Could always do, you know, multicolored, and at that point you still want to pick a main color. Your picture should really have like a main color throughout, and then all your other temperatures and stuff kind of blend through that. And so even if you have a rainbow colored dragon, you still need to pick a main color and then see how those colors kind of blend through it. So I think that's something a lot of people don't do, is they'll just grab main, like red and then blue and then yellow, and then you just have this kind of vomit color color palette. Well, and really, if you just pick like a really nice blue and then have everything be subtle shades of blue through the color spectrum, it'll look a lot better. My color theory is not great. It's just not. I don't do a lot of. I've not done a lot of color in my day-to-day life. I do a lot of quick concept sketches and then throw different palettes on top of it. So there are definitely people in the Discord who are much better at that than I am, and it might be worth talking to them about it. But yeah, I would suggest trying to pick a main color and then really just blending your colors through that. This is not a fantasy thing that I just drew. I just drew space armor bracketing, and that's not what we need here. That is a different thing. Bad Rook. Get back to the right stuff. Okay, so we're gonna keep that, and I just need this to be pillowy. I need it to be soft, not hard edged, because it is just padding. It's just supposed to be padding. That's all we want. Okay, that looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. This should have the shirt kind of creeping up in there. This is covering the arm, and then we have another sleeve over here. Did I do that right? Yeah, the sleeve should be like right here. Whoop, whoop, whoop. All colors on white like crystal. That's not a bad way to do it. I mean, if you want to do, you could do something that is more opalescent, something that is refracting light. So you have kind of just use white or a really light blue or a light purple as your base color, and then put those colored lights throughout the image as if it's refracting through the dragon scales or off the dragon scales. That could be pretty cool. And at that point, I would start looking up, how do you draw diamonds? How do you draw light refracting? All of those would be really good references for that kind of piece. When you're looking for references, you don't always have to find, what has someone already drawn. Like how do people draw kobolds and then copy that? It can be, I want to look up alligators. What do alligators look like? I could do that. I could use that. I actually kind of like this frill thing we got going on here. So if we got this and we're going like that, and then I'm just going to loop up. I'll let that kind of build its way through here, just to give it some texture. I think we can do that over here too. Just make little leaf loops. Maybe that's what I should have done too, instead of all these little... I like this little chain, but... maybe I overthink it. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Making it a little too complicated. complicated. Then zoom in. How are we doing here? Andreas, go get some sleep. Thank you for hanging out. It's always good to hear from you. It's cool that we get some people from all over the world. I love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it. It's like right up here. Like, this isn't something we need really detailed in, so let's just go ahead and give that some... push that into the background. Bring this to the front with some value. That looks great. Okay. So now here, I want to put another strap like that. Put just a tiny strap buckle on it. I feel like we could almost get this kind of set in here. I think we can put a belt in here too. More belts! Operation more belts. Let's get like a big buckle. We just kind of hide it in between these lines here. Have it pop out. Pop it. Pop that belt. Pop that buckle. I would start with looking up gemstones and playing with colors and emulating them and translating them into dragon form. That is great advice. It's great advice, Wyatt. I think it's a good place to start. I kind of want to put something here, but I don't know if I will. I'm also missing a necklace. I know there's a necklace that we need to add. I might need to look up the deity that it is based off of before we get too much further, but that can really be like a final detail. I think we need to finish this stuff first. Let's kind of get this leather work in here. Some nice banding in here, some stitches. I think I might cut that. See, now this curve could probably actually be a little smoother. Really make this like cut in here. How are we doing? Am I doing a weird thing with this? I think this needs to pop a little more. We can do that. I think this should stay. Yeah, full curve. Put some stitches on it. Now we'll loop this down. Now we'll loop this down. And we'll put a fancy dot buckle on there. Dook, dook. And all of this is kind of stitched together. We'll probably accent that with like some red, just so that it looks like a little more lacing or banding. And that will make more sense. And actually, yeah, if we do that, we can put like a little bow right here where the cloth is kind of wrapped in there. That'll be cool. We'll do another one over here, kind of like that. Probably need two. Ooh, one more over here. Okay, that's going on. How are we doing? I was thinking more like from Kill la Kill. Okay. Type of prismatic, seeing as how it's a bard and has to be the star of the show. Okay. You wouldn't belt. You wouldn't see that coming. If that's really what you want to do, I would definitely just let that heavily influence you. Like look at how they did it. Keep that in mind as you're designing it, and make a Dragonborn. If you already have something that you think is a great, like, oh, I want to emulate this, like that's great. Like just start there, and what makes that so influential to the work that you want to do. You don't have to copy it by any means. You just keep it in your mind while you're doing your art, and a lot of times it'll show through. So this, I really like this, but I think it needs to be a little more rigid. I think I'm muttering to myself. I'm making the thickness of this kind of variable in some places, and I think that's just because of not being careful enough with it. And so I need to be really, really careful about trying to keep it the same thickness all throughout so that it has that kind of rigidity to it. So if those lines start getting wobbly, then it will start looking more haphazard and less intentional. I'm going to pull these up here. Because once again, these are farther back. They're going to be a little less saturated here. A little darker. We got some fun stuff going on here. So this vanished. That needs to come back. That buckle right there. That clip, that clasp. That needs to be straighter, I think. That's better. Hate to have to run, but I got the Renaissance Fair tomorrow. Wyatt, that's awesome. Take lots of cool pictures for reference for us. How would you use protosynthetics in D&D? Like mechanical and magical appendages? Oh, prosthetics. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ways you can go about doing that. Depending on what you're running and how detrimental it's supposed to be. Like if they, have lost a limb, how much time and effort do they have to put into the new one? Is it magical? Is it not magical? I've had characters who want like robotic arms, and I think that's fine. I think there's enough magical constructs and mechanical constructs in the world that you can definitely come up with something. Something like automail works really well, where it doesn't necessarily have to be like magically infused or have an engine. It's just kind of is attached to the body. Yeah, that's a fun thing to work with. If you go directly by the book, if you lose a limb during combat, like you take stat penalties and you take a few different other issues. So I would say if you find a good enough prosthetic, you can start using that to reclaim those penalties. That's how I've kind of looked at it in the past. I'm also a big fan of like regeneration. I mean those spells exist, and so if your character loses a limb, you can definitely make it a quest. Like, oh hey, we need to find a priest that can repair this, because I think that's kind of a fun way to do it. But yeah, magical appendages make sense to me. There's definitely enough magic to do that. Necromancy works too, if you really want to get weird with it. Yeah, there are rules for building constructs in, I think 5e has them now, I'm not sure, but 3.5, Pathfinder, all have building constructs like golems and the alike. And so you can just kind of like use like, oh, I just need one arm. What would I need to build that? So then you have a monetary value for it. Or if you can get really creative with a spell. That's something I have done in the past. Like, okay, you can totally have, you can use your level 1 spell of Grasping Vine to have a hand, but you're going to have to burn that every single day, and it's going to cost you X amount components to do. So that way you have basically like casting permanency on yourself, or you can just forfeit a spell spell slot every day to have that back until you find a permanency spell for it. Lots of cool ways you can get around that. So that's gonna come up here and be like that. I'm just gonna go pap, 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 pap. We're gonna go pap, 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 pap. So once again, this belt needs to be the same thickness all the way across. All the way across. Hells yeah. We can start getting a little darker under here. Hey, we're getting somewhere. I think we're getting something pretty cool. We're hitting the 1 hour mark. I think we're going to keep going today. Go till maybe 5 o'clock. Maybe 5 o'clock. Gonna have a interesting time this weekend, trying to get these things finished up. Yeah, this I like this clasp. I think maybe we'll make this an actual clasp, kind of like that. Put a pin through it, but I do need to have a necklace out here too somewhere. So maybe that'll be under the cloak. Long necklace. I really don't know what the shape is. We're just gonna put this here. A little random person. Hey, it's me. A necklace. Oh, I got all kinds of stuff. That is just a lot of garbage. We're gonna clean that up right now. Get this thumb back here. Do 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 do. Maybe I want to go that way. Yeah, I want to go that way. Okay. I think the thumb would actually be bent a little more. There's a lot of just line noise right here. So we're going to clean that up real quick. So that should be like that. That's good. Let's clean that up. Clean that up. Yep. Ooh. Welcome, Linus. Interesting. So you could go full on Luke Skywalker, mechanical construct arm, and such. That's pretty cool. Yeah, absolutely. No, I definitely think you could. If you want to build a character around that, you could use the construct rules. Kind of like if you watched my undead character video, you basically would do the same thing except on a smaller scale. So you have your regular hit points, but then you would count your constructs as weapons, and that way like they could be targeted, or if you take so much damage, or depending on how you're using them, they might just wear down. That's all stuff you can add into the game. It's not something that's pre-built in. Yeah. Yeah, and then basically you would just add whatever you want to build to it based on your construct designs. Like, I want this to be really good at grappling. It's like, cool. While you have this arm equipped, you get your pluses to grappling and whatever else, and that's just what it is. There's a lot of really fun ways to go about doing that kind of character build. There's even some interesting things to do with... Oh, shoot, what is it called? I always forget this. It's like Power Rangers in Pathfinder, where you summon an Eidolon and you have basically a fey creature that you summon and can turn into power armor. But to do that, you have to build the character. You have to build, like, choose how many arms it has, what kind of armor it has, what kind of attacks it has. And you can do all that with a magic system. And I would just say you could strap that class as either take a level in it so that you become proficient in this weird mechanical arm you're using. Welcome, Cute Drawings. I can ask something. You can. If you can answer it, of course. How much the client paid for this piece, and what is the deadline for it? I don't have a deadline for it. I'd rather not talk about prices on Steam or on the stream, because that's basically their personal stuff for it. Basically, I try to figure things out based on a time scale, how long I think things are going to take. So if you want to talk to me about that stuff later, we can do that on the Discord. Sorry, shouldn't have started eating right after talking. But go ahead and feel free to message me about that a little later, and I can talk about that. But I usually try to charge what I would make normally, like per hour, and then figure out how long it's going to take me to make stuff. So I usually portion out that these will take me 4 to 6 hours is my usual time frame, and I tell them that, like, it's going to take me 4 to 6 hours, and I usually give myself 2 or 3 days to get those hours in because I'm doing this part-time basically. Yeah, so I usually charge about 4 to 6 hours worth of work. Okay, I got a snack, I got a drink. Back to it, here we go. But yeah, prosthetics, cool idea. I think another way for 5e, I guess the way you could do it is you could basically be an artificer, and then instead of having your buffs, you just would enchant your magical arm, or your tail, or whatever it is you want to go for. I think I've confused some of my lines here, because one of these should be the bag, which should really be like this way, and now I've also got the sword, which isn't necessarily bad, but it's a bad tangent that probably shouldn't be there. We'll see how it reads here in a bit, because this line doesn't make any sense anymore. I think that was the old arm, and this was the top of the bag, but I think I like this better as the sword handle. Yeah. This is probably still too thick, so maybe we'll taper it a little bit. Dun, 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 bum, 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 bum. So you could have several different modules, like prosthetics, that you could switch out on the fly, different situations, because it's a thing. I'm totally going to cut off my arm. Well, I mean, for your DM, that's something you have to talk to them about. I wouldn't suggest ever doing that to a character on purpose, because that's kind of weird. Like in-game, just like, oh, cool. If you watch the Adventure Zone, one of the characters gets his arm cut off, and then he gets a plant arm, which is pretty sweet. But it was traumatic for the character, and I liked that. Like, it was actually traumatic for the player, because he didn't know what was going to happen with it. So, definitely fun. But yeah, talk to your DM about it. If you want something that switches out, kind of like Mega Man style, like, oh, I'm going to attach my dragon arm. That's cool. I mean, yeah, go for it. Just make sure that your DM's okay with it, and you're not, going into it, I would be way more powerful if I had this. I better cut off my arm. It's like, okay. I mean, if that's your character choice, that's your character choice. Definitely talk to your DM about it first. So that's going to be there. We got this bag coming up here. Probably like that. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay, so the bag should actually be a little lower. We got a thumb there. That's fine. Is that fine? Is that fine? What's going on here? Maybe this is a little weird. I think this should not be the thumb. Yeah, I got a few different things going on here. Let's erase that for the moment. So this is the arm. And then the hand should come down here. Thumb will actually come up this way. There we go. Okay. Yep. Yep. And that makes the first finger come down this way. And then I like this like bent knuckle we got going on here. And then the whole rest of the hand just goes around. Okay, we're back in business, I think. And then the bag probably ends like right here and comes up. And then this comes this way. Should that come this way? I mean, if this going that way, nope, the sword should be like this. So that is interesting. I just have too much clutter over here, I think. Too much clutter. That's something I want to redesign, is the question. Or is it worth? Boo! Boo! There we go. I gotta rethink this sword, I think. I gotta rethink how this sword is. I mean, like, it's the weakest part of this build, I think. I like this kind of arm hanging out in the bag. Do. I want this to come up here, so it's in front of the hand. So he's got his hand on like the satchel bag part of it. Get that thumb some shape that it's supposed to have. That's not too bad. Okay. Yep. And then the bag would come back like this. And then, yeah, the sword should be like right here. Maybe it wouldn't cross over. Maybe it would just be like straight up and down. We could do that. But then it would still be like kind of crossing that line though. The bag and the sword are both supposed to be on the same side. I guess that kind of makes sense, though. If you're going to be grabbing at it from with the same hand, you choose whether you pick the bag or the sword. This does need to be in front, though, so that's the other problem, is I have this buckle that is kind of taking over the space that should be here. So let's make that really pronounced so that people see, like, oh, it's a buckle. It's a buckle that's holding the bag together, and really straighten that up. Okay. Thumb, done. Bag-ish, done. Give the second side here. Clean that up so we don't have all this flashing. I remember, now that I'm thinking about pricing and such, a bag made of swords. Yes, exactly. Or it's just, maybe the sword's just in the bag. Yeah, who knows? I was thinking about some of the first commissions I ever did. I tried to charge like $20, and I ended up spending like 10 to 12 hours on them. I was just like, oh man, I can't do that. Like 10 hours worth of work is worth so much time, so much effort. So pricing is always kind of difficult, I think, for any self-starter, any business owner, because you really have to figure out, what's your time, what's your material cost, which for digital art is actually, it's pretty low, which is great. I mean, you have the initial investment of the computer, but if you're planning on using that computer for, a couple of years, you only really have to worry about it if something breaks down, and then it's just like, okay, $300, the next handful of commissions I do need to be, top shelf. Need to make that worth the while. But you're not constantly putting more into it besides the internet. Well, that's just living expenses. Now I'm just thinking about being an adult, which, that is what it is. But really, yeah, figure out your time. And if you're doing something that you have to print things, I did just figure that out for the stickers. I think I can start giving sticker giveaways and sticker packages to the patrons that are doing more than $10. I think that is something we could do monthly, maybe bi-monthly, or we could figure out how to do it with the every month. Try to send the new prints out. That might have to be the $15 or $20 just for shipping. But yeah. Right. The new Artificer class, released in Unearthed Arcana, is about armor, but has a rule that armor can regrow itself into a missing limb that could be imbued with special needs for a spell. That's really cool. There you go. Yeah. That's definitely one way to do it. Just have it go straight into... you could take a class in that, is one way to deal with it. So if you want to learn how to repair your own arm, or you could maybe find an artificer and pay them to outfit you, and then you just constantly have to go back to that guy or that lady and have it repaired. Got a Full Metal Alchemist situation going on there. That's pretty great. Okay. Actually like how this kind of overly exaggerated itself on that side. I think that's pretty sweet. I like that. Want to do that? I think we've done it. I think we've gotten into the fiddly bits, which I'm just going to sit around and dink around with for the next couple hours. Well, probably not that long. For a little bit. And then tomorrow, I think we can start painting this guy. And we'll go from there. Oh, wait. I'm not going to be around tomorrow. Well, what do you think? I want to finish this up, so maybe I'll paint it by myself. Right. $20 is $20, which if you need $20 and you have 10 hours, that's great. There you go. So there is always that's kind of the thing about choosing how much your time is worth. I remember when I was in college and I didn't really have as many bills as I have now. I could spend an afternoon just doodling. But now, if I'm not here, I need to be at work making that money. So my time is a little more valuable than it used to be. But not everyone's the same. So price yourself where you think you can afford it. And go for it. Yeah. The other thing I noticed when I started was I was trying to charge like $20 or $30, and then all of a sudden I had 5 or 6 commissions, and I'm like, man, I just don't have time to do this week. And so it's like I can keep charging that and just be blocked up for the next couple weeks, or I could start raising my prices a little bit and see if people are actually people are willing to pay that much. So it's a constant balance of trying to figure it out. I think I've got a pretty good system now. But I also have a pretty good system now because I know how long I'm going to spend on most projects. And when I underestimate my time, it really bites me in the butt. What did I do here? That doesn't look the same. That's what I did there. that should be like that. And then these should be like this. These should be like this. Whoa. Whoa. I think we can actually make this a little floofier. There we go. Yeah, it looks better. Cool, 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 cool. I'm digging it. You know, the artist triangle, right? Yeah, time, quality, and cost. Do you want it cheap and fast, or that's actually I really like that. What are the three? I think it's time, quality. What's the third one though? Cost. Okay, yeah. You have to pick two. If you want it cheap, quality and time are gonna suffer. I totally bumbled up that whole metaphor. You're paying for time, paying for quality. So yeah. And as I get better at these, like what used to take me 4 hours a long time ago is you know, I knew a lot better now in 4 hours. So that's kind of the benefit of practice and quality, or practice and experience, is I can give my clients a lot more for their time than I used to be able to, which is good. And that's why I feel better about charging a little more than I used to. I can play with that. I can probably put a design on that too. It is just about 5 o'clock. I think we're going to call it there. I might finish up the line work, and I really want to finish this up this weekend. We'll see what happens. If I don't get it finished up, we will definitely do the coloring next week on Tuesday. But aside from that, I might be able to do another one tomorrow, depending. We might get a bonus episode this week, everybody. Who knows? I will keep you all posted. If you do have more questions, or you want to talk about how commissions and pricing works in the Discord, absolutely, let's do it. And other than that, we will catch you. Oh, that hand's crooked. Dang it. The palm needs to be like this. I have the hand facing the wrong way. That pinky should be closer. Well, so we got things to fix. Definitely got things to fix. We'll get there. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Thanks for chatting. Keep your dice on the table and be safe. Catch you all later.